Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3. And if you haven't noticed, I may actually made this video at the same time as I made my previous video, which was the top 5 of the month for the month of February. And this time around it's going to be the top 5 of the month for the month of March. So yeah, let's get started. At number 5, we'll have a film called The Photographer from 1974. I have a very strange looking DVD release of this film. I believe it has to be like a bootleg or something like that, but don't blame me for that because I believe this movie has never been released on an official DVD or Blu-ray release, which is kind of strange because this is directed by the same guy who made is it Fatal Exposure? It's called. I now just need to double check. I should have looked this one up earlier. Double Exposure is the name of the film. So that's the strangest thing about this one. Apparently, this is sort of like the origin story of the Double Exposure film because the Double Exposure film came out in 1982 and it's directed by the same guy who made The Photographer. So this kind of feels more like a mild type of version of Double Exposure, which felt more gritty in a way. One thing I really enjoyed about this film, usually I'm sort of like I'm sort of like bothered when you don't really have too much like blood or gore effects in some of these films, but in this case I think it worked really well. Particularly because the guy who portrays the main antagonist in the film that we follow through like the entire storyline of, his acting is really great, and he kind of reminded me of the performance by Joe Spinell in the first like in the Maniac film. So if you like that type of film, you'd probably like this one. But don't expect like a full blown bloodbath, like it's like a Maniac type of film. But it's just like that particular performance, like the way he's acting and whatnot. And it has really funny like side characters as well, like some like detectives or like police officers that are really likable and really funny. Sure, they don't really do their job particularly well in general, I would say, but that's also sort of part of the charm of these characters as well. Because in one scene they have like they have like dinner with the mortician or whatever, which I thought was really hilarious and really funny. It was just so out of place. It just cracked me up. So yeah, The Photographer at number 5. At number 4, we have a sequel to a film or two films. This is part of a series, but I'm just gonna say which film it is. It's Death Wish 3. Uh, it's more craziness. I mean, I like the first one. The first one felt like a really like serious type of drama film. The second one is turned out to be more crazy, and the third one is even more crazier. So it's sort of like lacking some action sequences in the beginning of the film and whatnot, but the last 20 to 25 minutes of this film just makes up for that because it is absolute carnage and crazy action sequences that I really enjoy. Um, of course, it's not like a maybe as good of a film as the first one, but it has so many funny and entertaining sequences shoved into it. And yeah, I think Charles Bronson is a complete badass in these films in general. So yeah, Death Wish 3 at number 4. And the number 3 is a film that really surprised me. I had no idea what to expect about this one, but I've never heard about it either. Apparently, it had some issues when it was released because I think it was made in 88 or 89, but it wasn't released up until 1990. So technically, it's an 80s film, but it ended up like being released in the 90s, like 1990. But the film is called Night Angel from 1990. Really interesting film with great special effects or like creature effects or like blood, gore, makeup effects, you name it. I really love those type of films. Sure, the storyline is a little bit of a mess in general, and I would say it feels a little bit long, even though it's not that long to begin with. But another reason that I really was pumped for this was because I think the logo in the opening credits or whatever, I think it's the same production company that produced the first Night of the Demons film. So when I saw that logo, I'm like, oh, this might be really good. And I this really surprised me because apparently this film has a really bad rating, and I'm never really looking up ratings beforehand when I watch a film. I want to watch it completely blind, have absolutely no. I mean, sometimes I'll read up about what it's about and what the actors are appearing in it and like who's directing it and whatnot. But as for ratings, I never look up ratings for films because I want to go in it completely blind and not be um, provoked or whatever by other like people that say, "Oh, this is garbage. Oh, this is great," because then you have your expectations either really low or really high. But this one I really appreciated. A really fun, goofy film. It feels definitely more of an 80s film than a 90s film, but that's the reason why because I what I told you before. But yeah, Night Angel from 1990 at number 3. At number 2, we have a film called Mongol: The Rise of Genghis Khan. from 2007. One thing that really surprised me about this is that the because you kind of like go through like the life of Genghis Khan and how he became the tyrant that he apparently when he ended up to be in the end. But really interesting sort of like biography type of film in general about his life and how his upbringing was and everything like that. One thing that really surprised me though about this film is that adult Genghis Khan is played by, I'm gonna butcher his name, but Tadanobu Asano, who I recognize from some of the Takashi Miike films I've seen. I think he plays Kakihara in the Ichi the Killer film. And I was like, throughout the entire film, like, I recognize that actor from somewhere, but I don't really know where. And I'm not really sure because I tried to read up about this and I couldn't find any information about this, but I'm like, wait a minute, so that Japanese actor, he actually knows the Mongolian language. I was very surprised by that because like well, at first I was like, oh, that's that guy, but like, no, it can't be him because I'm pretty sure he doesn't know that language. But I'm like, oh, maybe it does, but maybe it was like really great dubbing or something. I'm not really sure about that entire story, but that just really blew my mind. But yeah, Mongol, The Rise of Genghis Khan at number 2. So yeah, there you have that one. And the number 1 is a film that really surprised me. I went into this with pretty low expectations because it felt like it's not really my type of film. But then again, it is directed by Guillermo del Toro, and I really like his cinematography and his type of artistic style or spin to the films that he's directed. But yeah, it's The Shape of Water from 2017. Really interesting storyline. It kind of felt like a mix between like Beauty and the Beast and what was that other film called? Um, like sort of like a weird like I mean, if Guillermo del Toro directed Beauty and the Beast, it would look something like this. It's a really strange like comparison. Don't take me like seriously about that, but that's just my personal opinion. Is what I felt when I watched the film, like when I finished watching the film. um, I would say go into this knowing absolutely nothing about it, and you'd probably enjoy it. That's what I did, and I feel if I had read up about this film beginning in the beginning, I don't think I would have appreciated it as much as I did. So yeah, this is definitely a film you need to know nothing about before watching it. So, but anyway, yeah, The Shape of Water from 2017 at number 1. So yeah, there we have it. Those are the best 5 best films that I watched during the month of March. Like I mentioned in my previous video, I'm probably going to try to make the ranking video of John Carpenter's films, but I'm not really sure if I should include the made-for-TV ones that he made, like the Elvis one and the Someone's Watching Me one. The only one I have left to watch is the Elvis film, and that runs for almost like 3 hours, I believe. So I will see if I get to that and I include those films in the ranking video as well. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this particular video, and see you next time. Bye bye.